Hey everybody, welcome to Workforce Gaming. I am Brad, here with Doug.
Hey.
We're here to talk about Mother Demo, which is the newest game by the small indie studio called Enigma Studios.
Hmm.
And normally we don't talk about, I think it's a really short, quick indie game, and normally we don't spend too much time on those just because if we talk for 15 minutes about something that's 15 minutes, you might as well have played it. But I
Yeah.
believe this was described to me as the greatest gaming experience of my life. So,
Yes. Yeah.
here we are to talk about Mothered Demo, the greatest gaming experience of Doug's 30 something years on this earth. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm being kind of an ass, but I'm genuinely curious, what you mean
Yeah.
by that.
Yeah. So yeah, this is no joke, the best gaming experience I've ever had. And it was just a lot of random happenstances that I could never repeat again. Um, and it had with just a lot of different things I'm going to go into. Um, and that's why I just needed to talk about it. I just needed to have this like unrecorded history
It's,
because it
it's
was
more
just
just
like
like
I was just
cathartic to get it out more than
yeah,
it's not.
yeah,
Sure, it can be content, but it's really just this cathartic. I just
yeah,
need to say some things, and there happens to be a
exactly.
microphone here.
Exactly. And if this audio file just I save somewhere else and just says great experience ever and I just listen to it myself, that's fine. Um so no, I want to talk about it. It's around this game called Mother Demo. So I got to set up a lot of context beforehand. So like let's watch it out. All right. So Mother Demo. So first of all, the game Mothered, which Mother Demo is obviously a demo for, is a game that I had heard about. It's from a developer I really like. They called it Enigma Studios. They did a few other games in the past that are really great. Enigma Machine, Echo Stasis. We even did a video on that, so hopefully you can check that one out, where I talk a little bit more about each of those games. And anyway, so more recently, there's this thing that came out called the PS1 Haunted Demo Disc season 3 or something like that. It's this demo thing that I really really love to play. It comes out annually, and what it does, it has a suite of demos on it that you can play of different horror games by indie devs. And by indie devs, this is not like Annapurna indie dev. This is like
Indie
guy
dev,
in
indie dev.
basement. Yeah, developers are 3 people, maybe 1 or 2, doing this as a hobby. And as a part of that, they had this thing called the Mother Demo. But I learned checking his Twitter account when this demo had come out. It says, "I have been dying to announce this, introducing the Mother Demo, launching exclusively on the haunted PS1 demo disc Spectral Mall, available immediately. Wait, already completed Mother? Well, why not revisit it one last time?" And just based on that, I then tweeted the dev and said, "What do you mean by this?" And then he sent me back, "The demo will adapt to whether or not you've beaten it," referring to the Mother
Yeah.
main game. "So feel free to play the demo, but also make sure you return the demo once you've beaten the full game." Smiley face. And I was like, all right.
Guys, it's
I
play
was,
the full game and be done with this.
yeah, I was presented with like a rabbit hole that I was just like, oh, it's just like, I was just very curious. I'm very curious about this. So what I did is I went out, I bought Mothered, I played through it, really loved it. I was like absolutely in line with his other works, and it was great. Um, so at this point, for the Mother demo to kind of like do kind of the cool stuff, do the cool stuff of like having beaten Mothered, there's just a lot of like weird sort of happenstances that need to happen. First of all, you need to have heard of Mothered, obviously. You had to complete Mothered, then you would have gotten the haunted PS1 new demo disc, and then launch that demo. So I already knew I was kind of like part of like a niche of a niche of a niche of a
Yeah,
niche.
this kind of this
Think,
chain going through it.
yeah, exactly. It's just like you just had to do a lot of things beforehand. I was like, I must be like of a small like 100 people who have done this.
Yeah, yeah.
So this, yeah. So it's this cool, like, neat, like, little exclusivity just to get started. Just to get started. There's like, I'm
So
already
this is
feeling like,
this is the greatest gaming experience ever because you're like only like 6 other people did this, so I just feel cool. Like that's
well, it's not cool. It's just like, every sort of secret on the game. Like, so, okay, think of like a game like Fez or PT or
yeah,
whatever else. Whenever there's any sort of mystery, you always just end up hearing about the answer on Kotaku. It's like, well,
yeah,
okay, I
yeah.
never really got to be a part of that. And then the puzzle is so freaking complex. There's like, well, I never would have figured that anyway. It takes a million monkeys on a million keyboards to get the thing to
To
trigger.
get to yeah.
There's just, yeah, exactly. But like in that moment, like when that Mother demo came out and he sent me that tweet back, I was like, it's like there's no way to Google this. Like I might be
Yeah.
one of the people to be able to figure this thing out. And it just felt really cool because I was just like, all right, let's see what's going on. So anyway, so again, what Mothered is, the normal game. It's about a little girl who returns home from surgery. Her mom's a mannequin. So the game progresses one day at a time, starting on Sunday night, and then it kind of moves like morning, afternoon, evening, night, through each of the days. So you do like Monday morning, pretty similar to Paranormal Activity, actually, which is kind of interesting. I'm not sure if that was like intentional. Where like Paranormal Activity is like, oh, the day is kind of nice, and then at night it gets creepier, and then the day is nice again. It's great. It's 2 hours long. Just go play it, because I might spoil some stuff about it, but just go play that game. So the Mother demo, I had sort of assumed that it'd be a side story of sort that wouldn't spoil the main game, and it might have some Easter eggs to it. One thing very specifically, there's this demo if you play the demo for the original Half-Life, it's called Half-Life Uplink, and the reason it's interesting is because it places entire 2-hour scenario that's actually not in the main game. So I thought it might be something like that, kind of a side story. And then as soon as I booted Mother demo, it immediately spoiled the story to Mother 1, to Mothered. And I was like, okay, something's kind of weird. This is kind of crazy. Why would they spoil a game? Why would they spoil an entire game in a demo? So I played through the demo, and the demo ends with it says ending A. I was like, ending A for a demo? What does that mean? And then there's text at the bottom that tells you to do something in the game that you definitely could not do in the main game. They give you a task to go to like a certain area at a certain time of day. And I was like, I don't think that area is accessible in the main game at that time of day. I don't think you can do that. So once I restarted the demo and I did the little task that it told me to do, it's just shit just goes completely off the rails. Like, it's just, okay, now we're doing something totally different. And this is going to get into spoilers, but I like to talk about it. There's a point where what they ask you to do is go put this item on this area. You put the item on, and all of a sudden, my jaw dropped when this happened. After you perform the action, what happens in the middle of the map, this huge obelisk teleports in with a character on it that's clearly from Echostasis. And the Enigma machine. And I was just like, oh shit. Like, no, not only is this like like Mothered itself isn't a side thing, it's like, oh no, this is actually Echostasis.
This is the Avengers Endgame moment.
Yes. Exactly. And like, it felt like such a big moment. And I feel like indie games just typically don't have those types of moments in them. So it just felt like, I don't, just like, it felt like everything accumulated in that moment. And so what happens is you do something after that sequence that kind of gets you to ending B. And I was like, oh, okay, that's great. Done. That was cool. Part of this small group of people who probably had done this. That was kind of neat. And then at ending B, it vaguely hints at like a third ending. And I was like, oh shit. At this point, it is maybe 12 o'clock at night.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And I have to take care of a small child in the morning. But I was like, it can't be that crazy.
Much more.
The Mother demo had come out only, I think, like 4 or 5 days before. And I had this like kind of interesting sort of like moment. I was like, am I the only person who's done this besides the developer? And it was just fun just knowing like, okay, whatever puzzles are going to happen, I can't Google. Nobody's done this.
There's no lifeline on this.
There's no lifeline. And I think that was just like, so I'm already riding on the high of like, oh, this game is actually the culmination of all his other games. Like, I'm watching a Secret Avengers movie and it's a movie theater just for me.
Yeah.
And it was just, it was really, really cool going through how to unlock the third ending, which I'm not going to spoil. But it has stuff like going to other websites, entering passcodes in, doing all this crazy stuff. And there's a moment where you go to a website, and then what happened on the website is the logo that they have for the demo, which says Mothered Demo. But the logo now says Mothered Home. And it's the guy's thing saying, it's like, this is the fourth game I've created in this series. And it's just like, oh, it was just like so cool seeing that logo having changed and now has like the real title of the game. It really felt similar like Nier Automata or something like that. So it's just this secret little Nier Automata that I'm playing. And it was cool. And I spent, oh God, a few hours trying to figure out like one of the final clues. It ended me with a desperate message to the developer at 2 a.m. saying like, hey man, this is what the game's telling me to do. I can't figure out what it is. You have to go to this like very specific area and start typing in very specific things. I'm like, I'm trying this. And as I'm like writing to the developer, I had this thought of like, they did this one thing you could type in Enigma Machine, and I typed that in, and that was the answer. And it was just, and the ending itself was just really, really, really cool. And then it ends on a sort of like, and then like the next one is like, it says, it ends on this kind of like fun sort of like elevator music thing where it comes in, it's like, and then it basically said, it's like, our next game is Echo Stasis. And it was just so cool. And I was just like thinking, I was like, I might have been the only person outside the developer. So I actually sent them a DM the next morning. I said, hey, I sent him a screenshot of this. Like, am I like the first person? He's like, I think you're one of like a small handful of people who've done this. So it was so neat. It was just having all of these like little things line up, all these like weird happenstances and perfect 1% of a tenth of a percent sort of thing line up. And it was just legitimately one of the coolest things. It was funny. The thing I was stuck on, I sent the developer a message and I was like, hey man, this clue, I don't know about it. And he's like, okay, I'll modify the clue slightly. So he modified the clue slightly so like more people could get that final ending because I explained to him my thought process on what I was thinking about that clue. He's like, oh no, that's not clear. I was like, that is not clear at all, man. What you're telling me is not clear at all. So it's cool. So he'd actually modified it slightly. I don't want to say what he modified, but he did modify it slightly, and it was just really just cool. That was it. That was my experience with the Mother demo, and I just don't think it'll ever be replicated. It can't be. It just can't be. Yeah.
One of those like perfect stars. Everything aligns for knowledge of this series, knowledge of this, and that's okay. Yeah. That's kind of cool. I get it.
Yeah. And that got me all excited to like go back, and I went back and I replayed after I did that. I went back and replayed all the games, and then like played through the secret ending of Mother demo, and it's just like there's just this very nice story that goes through all the games that like they all just seem very separate. And this connects it not in like a dumb way. It's just like, oh no, I see the through line of what they're going to for the next game. Nice. And it was just really, really cool. Yeah.
Nice. We are Workforce Gaming. You can subscribe to us wherever you're listening or follow us on Twitter at Workforce Gaming, and we will see you later.
Bye.